13 women murdered. Identity debated. Boston, 1962. A city cloaked in fear. The Beantown was brewing a potent mixture of dread and paranoia as a phantom stalked its streets. Women, aged between 19 and 85, were being systematically targeted, each strangled in their own homes. The victims, ranging from students to retirees, were found posed in sexually suggestive positions, stockings tied around their necks in grotesque bows. The killer, dubbed the Boston Strangler by the press, left no trace, no witnesses, only a chilling signature of terror. The city's legendary Irish Catholic insularity, usually a source of strength, now felt like a suffocating blanket, as whispers and rumors filled the void left by hard evidence. A creeping sense of vulnerability invaded the lives of ordinary women as they double-locked doors and eyed strangers with suspicion. The unknown assailant moved with a chilling blend of premeditation and brutality, leaving behind a city teetering on the edge of hysteria. The initial investigation was a chaotic mess. The Boston Police Department, already grappling with deep-seated corruption and antiquated methods, struggled to contain the escalating panic. Leads were pursued with manic energy, then discarded with frustrating regularity. Every suspicious man in the city became a potential suspect. A wave of informants, crackpots, and attention seekers flooded the precinct, muddying the waters further. Profiling, still in its infancy, offered little practical help. The detectives, under immense public pressure, resorted to desperate measures, even consulting psychics and clairvoyants. The lack of forensic technology meant crucial evidence was overlooked or mishandled. The press, fueled by public anxiety, amplified the confusion, transforming the investigation into a media circus. The case became a symbol of law enforcement's inadequacy in the face of modern, urban crime, a dark stain on Boston's image. Adding to the chaos, the murders seemed to defy a clear pattern. The victims spanned a wide age range and social strata. Some were sexually assaulted, others were not. Some apartments were ransacked, others were left untouched. The only consistent element was the manner of death: strangulation, usually with a nylon stocking. Detectives explored various theories: a deranged loner, a scorned lover, a professional killer. Each lead promised a breakthrough, only to dissolve into frustrating dead ends. The city held its breath with each new murder, the sense of impending doom growing heavier with every unsolved case. The lack of a clear motive made the killer even more terrifying, a faceless embodiment of pure, senseless violence. The Strangler was not just a criminal. He was an urban legend in the making. Mid the fear, a glimmer of hope emerged. A composite sketch, based on eyewitness accounts, was released to the public. It depicted a nondescript man with dark hair and a slightly receding hairline. The sketch, however, proved to be of limited value. The descriptions were vague and contradictory, reflecting the general atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. The police established a hotline urging citizens to report any suspicious activity. The response was overwhelming, but most of the tips led nowhere. Frustrated detectives found themselves chasing shadows, second-guessing every move. The pressure to catch the Strangler was immense, but the investigation was hampered by a lack of resources, coordination, and above all, concrete evidence. The city was trapped in a nightmare, with no end in sight. Then came Albert DeSalvo. A petty criminal with a history of sexual offenses, DeSalvo was already in custody on unrelated charges when he confessed to being the Boston Strangler. His confession, delivered with chilling detail, seemed to fit the known facts of the case. He described the victims, their apartments, and the manner of their deaths with unnerving accuracy. He even provided details that had not been released to the public. The police, desperate to close the case, hailed DeSalvo's confession as a major breakthrough. The city erupted in cautious celebration, believing the reign of terror was finally over. But even as DeSalvo was paraded before the media, doubts began to surface. DeSalvo's confession, while seemingly compelling, was riddled with inconsistencies. He struggled to remember key details, often contradicting himself. He confessed to 13 murders, but some of the details he provided didn't match the known facts of the cases. Most damningly, there was no physical evidence linking DeSalvo to the crime scenes. No fingerprints, no DNA, no witnesses placing him at the scene of the murders. Critics accused the police of coercing DeSalvo's confession, eager to close the case at any cost. Some even suggested DeSalvo was a pathological liar, seeking notoriety and attention. The certainty that had gripped Boston began to waver, replaced by a renewed sense of unease. Had they caught the real Strangler, or simply a convenient scapegoat? The DeSalvo case took an even stranger turn when F. Lee Bailey, a flamboyant and controversial lawyer, took on DeSalvo as a client. Bailey, known for his aggressive defense tactics and media savvy, argued that DeSalvo was mentally ill and deserved treatment, not punishment. He portrayed DeSalvo as a victim of childhood trauma and psychological manipulation, a man driven to violence by forces beyond his control. Bailey's strategy was not to prove DeSalvo's innocence, but to raise reasonable doubt about his guilt. He argued that the prosecution's case was based solely on DeSalvo's confession, which he claimed was unreliable and coerced. The trial became a media spectacle, with Bailey captivating the public with his theatrical courtroom performances. However, DeSalvo was never actually tried for the Strangler murders. Instead, he was tried on unrelated charges of armed robbery and sexual assault. Bailey used the Strangler confession as part of an insanity defense, arguing that DeSalvo's violent tendencies were a symptom of his mental illness. The jury, however, rejected the insanity defense and convicted DeSalvo on the robbery and assault charges. He was sentenced to life in prison. But even behind bars, the mystery surrounding the Boston Strangler continued to haunt the city. Doubts lingered about DeSalvo's guilt, and the question of whether the real Strangler was still at large remained unanswered. In 1973, Albert DeSalvo was found stabbed to death in his prison cell. The circumstances surrounding his death were suspicious, fueling conspiracy theories about a possible cover-up. Some believed that DeSalvo had been silenced to protect powerful individuals who were involved in the Strangler murders. Others speculated that he had been killed by other inmates seeking revenge for his crimes. The investigation into DeSalvo's death was inconclusive, adding another layer of mystery to the already complex case. With DeSalvo gone, the truth about the Boston Strangler seemed destined to remain forever shrouded in doubt. Decades passed, and the case of the Boston Strangler faded from the headlines. But the memory of the terror that gripped Boston in the 1960s remained etched in the city's collective consciousness. Then, in 2013, a major breakthrough occurred. Using advanced DNA technology, investigators were able to link DeSalvo to the last of the Strangler victims, Mary Sullivan. The DNA evidence, extracted from a water bottle believed to have been used by DeSalvo, matched semen found at the crime scene. The discovery seemed to finally confirm DeSalvo's guilt, putting an end to decades of speculation and doubt. But even this seemingly conclusive evidence was not without its critics. Skeptics argued that the DNA evidence was limited to only one of the 13 murders, and that it did not definitively prove DeSalvo was responsible for the other 12. They pointed out that DNA contamination was a possibility, and that the evidence could have been mishandled. They also raised questions about the reliability of DeSalvo's confession, which remained inconsistent and contradictory. The debate over DeSalvo's guilt continued, fueled by the lingering doubts and unanswered questions surrounding the case. The Boston Strangler, it seemed, would continue to haunt the city, even from beyond the grave. The official conclusion, however, remains that Albert DeSalvo was indeed the Boston Strangler. Despite the lingering doubts and inconsistencies, the DNA evidence linking him to Mary Sullivan's murder is considered by many to be the definitive proof. The case is closed, at least in the eyes of law enforcement. But the story of the Boston Strangler is more than just a crime story. It's a story about fear, paranoia, and the limits of justice. It's a story about a city gripped by terror, and a killer who evaded capture for years, leaving behind a legacy of violence and uncertainty. But what if DeSalvo was simply a pawn? A patsy used to quell public hysteria, while the true killer continued their sinister work, untouched and unsuspected. The timeline, even with the DNA evidence in Mary Sullivan's case, leaves room for doubt. But another individual have committed the earlier murders, meticulously studying the police investigation and mimicking the Strangler's methods to deflect suspicion. Could DeSalvo, with his known history of sexual deviancy, have been easily manipulated into confessing to crimes he didn't fully understand? The possibility, however remote, casts a long shadow over the official narrative. The chilling irony of the Boston Strangler case is that even with modern DNA technology, the truth remains elusive. The certainty that the Sullivan murder brings highlights the uncertainty surrounding the other 12 victims. Were they all the work of one man? Or were there multiple killers, each preying on the city's vulnerability and exploiting the climate of fear? The unanswered questions continue to fuel speculation and debate, reminding us that even the most advanced forensic science can only provide a partial glimpse into the darkness of the human heart. And so, the legend of the Boston Strangler endures, a cautionary tale about the complexities of crime, the fallibility of justice, and the enduring power of fear. Whether Albert DeSalvo was the true strangler, a patsy, or simply a disturbed individual caught in a web of circumstance, his name will forever be linked to one of the most terrifying chapters in Boston's history. The city has moved on, but the memory of the Strangler serves as a constant reminder of the darkness that lurks beneath the surface of even the most civilized societies. The fear he instilled may have faded, but the questions he raised remain, echoing through the years like a chilling whisper in the wind.